Hi, my name is Austin Tate, and I am a student in the online Art Appreciation 111 class, and today in this presentation we will be discussing the great Renaissance artist Raphael. Now, before jumping into this presentation, I figured it would be best to discuss the reasoning behind why I decided to choose Raphael. And the reasoning behind this is quite simple. I am a lover of history, and I care for anyone that is significant to history, like Raphael. However, I must admit that I never really put a lot of thought into Raphael as a person or his accomplishments in history, only because he was an artist and I didn't really like art before coming into this class. However, as this class has progressed, I've become more fond of history and I've become more fond of Raphael, who he was as a person, and the artworks that he created. One of the first artworks I saw was by Raphael. It was the School of Athens, and as soon as I saw it, I immediately fell in love with it because of all of the profound figures of history that were located within the fresco itself. Now, the time period of Raphael, he was born in 1483 in Urbino, Italy, and the importance of this was that he was born right in the middle of the Renaissance. His father was a great artist himself, and he was motivated by his father to become an artist in order to carry on the family legacy. And as mentioned before, I believe the time period that he was born in influenced the art that you will see later on in this presentation. So, in order to become an artist, Raphael figured he needed to serve under someone as to become a great artist. So the person he selected was Pietro Perugino, and he was able to learn in his early years more about art while serving under him. While serving under Perugino, Raphael was able to learn about drawing, mediums, styles, paint chemistries, and the using of art mediums to create the anatomies of human figures. He was also able to learn how to use oil paint on wood and paint on canvas, a skill that would benefit him later on in his career, which can be seen in things like transfiguration, which will be covered at the very ending of the slide or the presentation, and it will also be found in some of his greater pieces that can be found in the Raphael halls or rooms. And his medium that he mostly used was painting on canvas. He also used oil paint on wood, as mentioned prior, like for the piece Transfiguration, which will be seen at the very ending of the presentation. So, the people who motivated Raphael, for one, his father, which is not listed on the slide, Michelangelo, Bartolomeo, and Leonardo da Vinci. However, Leonardo is believed to have had the greatest influence on Raphael due to his accomplishments during the Renaissance. Michelangelo and Bartolomeo are thought to be some of his influences as well, or the people who influenced him for their creativity during the Renaissance and some of the pieces that they created during the Renaissance. So, his first artwork is referred to as the Bronze altarpiece. It can be located in Pinacoteca Civica Tossio, Martinengo, and Brescia. The painting's medium was oil on wood and was made as a dedication to St. Nicholas of Tolentino. Raphael was asked to help with this piece in his teens, for he was referred to as a master at a young age, and this would seem to be a testament to that claim. Now, keep in mind, he was referred to as a master in his teens. That is remarkable to me. For someone to be a master, they have had to learn every skill, every technique, and polish it to a point where it benefits them the most in the field that they are practicing. Now, he's only a teenager whenever he makes this piece, and he was selected by the Pope or St. Nicholas, not the Pope, St. Nicholas to create this piece. So that can kind of give you an idea as to how good Raphael was. The piece was started in 1500 and was finished in 1501. The piece, however, was damaged by an earthquake, and the different pieces of the artwork have become parts of various collections around the world that you can still find today. The biggest testament to Raphael's success would have to be the Raphael rooms, which can be located in the Vatican Museum. These rooms house some of the most famous works of Raphael, and he was commissioned to paint these rooms by Pope Julius II when he was only, keep this in mind, 25 years old. So, in his teens, he was a master, and when he was 25 years old, he was asked to paint the viewing rooms of the Pope. That just lets you know how great Raphael was. Now, moving on to the first piece that can be found in the Raphael rooms, you'd have to look at the La Scuola de Atene, which is also referred to as the School of Athens, and is my personal favorite piece of Raphael's, and is regarded as being his most famous piece. The piece is a true fresco and interests many, for it favors the observer depending on where they're observing the piece from. The piece is the reason I know who Raphael is, and is the reason why I fell in love with his other works. I'd always seen the piece in different history books, and I loved observing the piece even before taking this class. However, I never realized that each individual is drawn to scale depending on where you're observing the piece from, a feature that I absolutely adore. The next piece that you can find in the Raphael rooms would have to be the La Disputa del Sacramento, which is also referred to as the Disputation on the Sacrament. It is a piece that was finished in 1510, and is once again a true fresco. The piece is remarkable to me, for it combines both the human world and the biblical world, for you have your earth on the bottom, you've got heaven in the middle, and you've got God the Father on the very top. Seated below God the Father, you can see Jesus surrounded by different individuals from the Bible, like Adam, Abraham, all these different figures. And at the bottom, you can find different individuals like Pope Julius II, Pope Sixtus IV, and many more. The third piece that you find in the Raphael rooms would have to be the Stanza dell'Incendio del Borgo. It is also referred to as the Fire in the Borgo. It is one of the final pieces in the Raphael rooms, and is a piece that was completed in 1517. I don't know why that says 1510 on the slide. The piece illustrates the political aspirations of past popes, and the piece is regarded as one of the last pieces of Raphael, as he died early. The piece was very, not controversial, I would say. It was more as though different from his others, for a large portion of this piece was entrusted to the students of Raphael. Now, Transfiguration, this is the final piece by Raphael. The piece began in 1516 and is thought to have been finished in 1520. Raphael was commissioned to paint this by Cardinal Giulio de' Medici. It was finished by a student because Raphael died early in 1520, and he was unable to finish the artwork, so his student took it upon himself to finish the artwork. In it, you see Jesus coming down from the heavens and bringing people up to heaven. It was kept as a personal item by the Pope, which is that can give you an idea as to the emotional attachment that the Pope had to Raphael. The Pope asked Raphael to paint the viewing rooms of the Pope, and once he died, it was like a giant blow to the Pope as a person, for his favorite artist was basically gone now. So some of the historical accomplishments that can be found, were accomplished by Raphael. He was regarded as a master in his teens, as I have mentioned multiple times throughout this presentation. He's regarded as one of the best artists of all time, especially one of the best artists to come out of the Renaissance time period. And to make matters to make matters best, he was referred to as a member of the High Renaissance Masters. The High Renaissance Masters are the best artists from the Renaissance time period. So basically what has happened in history, Raphael has been taken as just a solo individual, a solo artist, and has been placed along the side of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and himself to cement his legacy in the art world, in the real world, and in all of history. And that is Raphael, the great Renaissance artist. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I would like to thank Ala Parsons for allowing me to take this class and learn more about this remarkable artist.